All around the world, there are people with incredible abilities. This time, the search for the ultimate superhuman in brain power. A man whose record-breaking memory means he can recall streams of numbers after seeing them for just a split second.
I can see all the digits in my mind.
A champion speed cuber whose brain comes up with groundbreaking strategies.
My nerves are outside of my mind.
A Shaolin warrior who takes mental pain suppression to new limits.
Anything goes wrong, that spear could easily pierce through your throat.
A record-breaking mathematics genius known as the human calculator.
I was able to see my brain, but I think it's pretty amazing.
And a woman whose lightning-fast brain means she can speak over 600 words a minute. Identifying and assessing the superhumans, 3 pioneering scientists. Brain surgeon, Dr. Rahul Jandial.
I'm fascinated what we can learn from superhumans. Can we all develop their skills?
Professor of Sports Science, Greg White.
I want to see people do things that you would have thought were impossible and find out why.
And neuroscientist, Dr. Heather Berlin.
I really want to find the limits to how far the human brain can be trained.
5 superhumans will test the boundaries of what is possible.
It's mind-boggling.
It was absolutely incredible.
Only 2 will make it to the head-to-head showdown of tests,
What do you guys think about each of these people?
where the scientists will declare just one as the ultimate in superhuman brain power.
Are we in agreement?
Yeah.
Agreed.
The human brain isn't just the most complex structure in the human body, but on the whole planet. Its 100 billion neurons sense the world and control what we do. Different areas are responsible for different functions. In superhumans, specific regions of the brain may be more developed than usual. The parietal lobe for arithmetic, the Broca's area for speaking, the thalamus and frontal lobes for interpreting pain, or the temporal lobe for memory. The brain is still full of mystery. Is there such a thing as a photographic memory? Could you look at these 12 numbers for just a second and remember them all? Impossible? Well, Superhuman Case 1 can remember 4 times that many and claims to have one of the most powerful and fastest photographic memories on Earth. Dr. Heather Berlin is in Munich to investigate the secret of his ability. In the category of speed memory, Ramon Campayo doesn't hold just one world record, he holds them all. Ramon is capable of recalling over 20,000 words after hearing them just once, and 48 binary digits after seeing them for a single second.
As a neuroscientist, I'm really interested in Ramon. I want to see, is there something different in perhaps his neural network in his brain? Or is this a skill that anyone can learn if they practice really hard?
How are you? Nice to meet you.
Good, nice to finally meet you.
Okay.
Heather is going to investigate Ramon's claim that he can remember whole sequences of numbers. Here are 18 binary numbers. How many can you recall after having seen them for just 3 seconds? Ramon says he can remember more than double that. So, this experiment will determine if that's true.
Yeah? Okay,
Can you check?
let's check. Wow, perfect.
Ramon correctly recalls all 45 numbers without a single mistake.
I can see all the digits in my mind.
You take a picture of it in your mind.
Yes.
There's this thing that we have where you get a visual imprint very quickly in your visual cortex, and it usually fades very quickly. So it seems to be a bit of this, what we might call photographic memory. Your brain has an imprint, and you're able to keep it on for longer than most people.
I can memorize this in only half a second.
Heather has enlisted fellow neuroscientists Rudiger Jaws and Dennis Jordan to uncover the science behind Ramon's unique talent. In this experiment, they'll show him a more complex set of numbers for precisely 1 second. No one could read them all in that time. The only way Ramon will be able to recall all the numbers is if he demonstrates a photographic memory that retains them in his head.
Correct.
Wow. Very impressive.
The trick about memory is it's the retrieval.
Yeah.
If we look at the numbers again, we also recognize them. These were the numbers, but we couldn't actively retrieve them.
Ramon clearly has an exceptional mental ability. To explore it further, Heather now wants to investigate different areas of his brain.
With EEG, you can get an idea about, in a sense, how his brain is sort of wired.
I measure the communication between different brain areas.
And see how it might be different than the average normal person.
Yeah.
The EEG records brain waves, which are an indication of mental activity.
We're going to look at activation in your brain.
Okay.
Each of the 32 sensors measures brain waves emanating from a different area of the brain.
This is looking at the information exchange between different parts of the brain.
Like most people, Ramon exhibits strong links between the frontal lobes that are responsible for reasoning and the visual cortex at the back of the brain.
But in addition to that, you also seem to have a lot of feedback going from the frontal part of the brain to other sensory areas in the brain, in particular what's called the temporal cortex and the parietal cortex.
This is more revealing. Deep inside the temporal lobe is the part of the brain responsible for visual short-term memory. Could quicker, more active connections here play a role in Ramon's ability?
So there is a different pattern going on here.
I'm very happy because the results are good and they show that my brain is fast.
It seems Ramon is indeed the fastest memorizer in the world, an extraordinary achievement that makes him a strong contender for the showdown. But will the second superhuman case in brain power be even more exceptional? Professor of Sports Science Greg White is in Rio de Janeiro to investigate. A man whose astonishing spatial memory and talent for strategy has made him a champion at the age of just 18. Gabriel Barbar is one of the world's fastest speed cubers. He can solve the puzzle in a blistering 7.78 seconds.
I picked up a Rubik's Cube about 30 years ago when I was a kid, and back then I could complete one. Now it's going to take me days to do it. Good to meet you. Listen, I've been working on this in the car and it's just not happening for me. Can you do something with that? While you're doing it, just run me through it. So you've looked at it now and you've thought of a plan, you've got a plan in your mind?
Yeah. First moves I have done in my mind.
Okay, we'll go for it. Let's take... Okay. Just the speed of those hands is incredible. I mean, that's... And are you processing this as you go along?
Yeah, of course.
You just... Look at just the speed of those hands is incredible. And so there's like... It's amazing. I mean, how are you doing? It looks like you look at it first and then go at it. How's that work?
There is a practice to get speed, but there's also a bit of strategy on the solve. So you have to think about the pieces you're going to move to take less movements to solve the cube.
To be this fast, Gabriel studies the cube and works out the whole sequence for the solution before he even begins.
He's able to compute that internally before he starts his physical moves. Absolutely amazing.
The average person faced with a cube will try to solve it one move at a time.
What I'm looking for is someone to compete against this man, who is super, super quick. You guys up for it? Yeah?
To find out how effective Gabriel's premeditated strategy is and how much faster he is than the average person, Greg is going to run an experiment on Copacabana Beach.
You fancy having a competition against this guy? Yeah? Excellent.
The requirements for this are a control group of 10 randomly selected adults with 1 cube each, and 10 further cubes just for Gabriel. Gabriel must try to solve his 10 cubes before any of the control group solves theirs.
3, 2, 1, go! That's it, guys. Keep it going, quick as you can. First one complete, 12 seconds. Second one complete, 28 seconds. 5 done, 1 minute and 11 seconds. 6 done. 8 done. He's coming up for number 9, 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And here we go, last one, number 10, the final one, and nobody's got even close by the looks of it with the other guys. And it's done. 2 minutes, 24 seconds.
Gabriel's done it, but none of the control group had a strategy that got them anywhere close to a solved puzzle.
The incredible thing is that Gabriel's got a formula through which he's working, but he's having to do that and compute it for every single Rubik's Cube every time he picks it up.
Greg suspects Gabriel's secret involves memorizing moves. So he's taking him to the test center, where the other scientists will help investigate his aptitude in a very particular memory test. Brainpower Superhuman Case 2, Gabriel Barber, is in the test center, where the 3 scientists aim to uncover the secret of his highly specialized memory.
I mean, one of the things that I'm interested in here, Gabriel, is this ability to memorize patterns, and whether that's one of the key skills that you're actually using here.
Greg's pattern recognition experiment requires 5 cubes and a blindfold.
Raul's going to pop this blindfold on you. Whilst that's going on, Heather is just going to take 1 cube and change 1 face. And what we want you to do, without having seen it, is tell us which face that is and which cube it is. Okay? But initially, we're going to give you some time to memorize these cubes first. Okay?
Okay.
Each cube has 6 faces. So in front of Gabriel, there are a total of 30 faces, each with a different pattern.
Okay, I'm done.
You're satisfied?
Yeah.
You get 1 shot at it.
Okay.
Just turn around so you can't see at all.
So I'm just going to take one of these cubes and just change it, rotate once.
This side of the middle cube was changed.
Okay.
If Gabriel can spot it, it will reveal an extraordinary ability to both visualize and remember color patterns. This is an extremely demanding task. The number of different patterns possible for just 1 cube are more than 43 million. Gabriel has examined all the cubes. Will he choose the one that Heather changed?
Okay, I took this cube here. This face move here.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
Of course he's using vision, of course he's using his motor skills to really move things around, but it's his short-term memory. He can remember multiple sides, multiple colors, and distinguish what was changed. It's really fantastic.
I think the 5 Rubik's Cube went very well. I didn't think I was going to be that fast, so I'm pretty surprised.
It was so impressive because the amount of mental energy it takes, the amount of information you need to keep online, so to speak, is something that I've never seen before.
I mean, many of us have trouble remembering where our keys and phone are. You did patterns that are simply mind-boggling. What is the technique? How do you remember the patterns? By their neighboring colors, By diagonal patterns, by certain shapes?
Yeah, actually, I have a letter for each color. So what I do is just look at some colors, and every color has a letter. So I have a word, so I have an image, and everything's okay.
So, Gabriel recalls patterns by allocating a different letter to each colour. For instance, G for green. From these, he creates words that stick in his mind.
I think he's got multiple things going on. He's got vision, he's got language, he's got letters, and he's sort of integrated them into this superhuman memory.
Developing a strategy this effective is breathtaking.
It's amazing.
But will Gabriel's highly tuned brain be enough to earn him a place in the showdown? Could the third brain power case up the stakes? Dr. Heather Berlin is in London to investigate a Shaolin warrior who claims to defy pain with brain power alone.
This is something I've got to see.
24-year-old Brit Matthew Armet is the first non-Chinese person ever to tour with the Shaolin display team, a group of warriors who have studied the discipline of pain suppression for generations.
From the age of 11, you know, I wanted to move to China and be a Shaolin warrior. When I was 16, I left school, and shortly after, I lived for around 4 years at the Shaolin Temple. The training was incredible, very, very intense.
Now, one of his abilities is to withstand more pain than the average person could ever bear.
So what are you going to show me?
Well, basically, I'm going to use a form of meditation called Qigong, and that's going to allow my body to kind of feel the pain before it even happening and therefore control it.
Matthew is about to show that with the right preparation, he can achieve a feat which would cause the average person severe pain and injure the neck and throat. This is a highly dangerous controlled experiment. Do not attempt it. With his body weight supported on the end of the spear, Matthew will now try to withstand a violent blow without even flinching.
Oh. That was unbelievable.
Thank you very much.
Are you hurt?
No, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Oh my gosh. Look at that welt. It doesn't hurt.
No, no, no. That shows the impact of the stick.
Yeah, just how hard it really
exactly.
hit you. Oh my God. So would anyone do that? Like if I was to try to do this now? I
think that you could probably do it, but you know, it's extremely dangerous. You know, if anything goes wrong, that spear could easily pierce through your throat.
There are normally 2 stages to feeling pain. First, pain receptors detect that something is wrong. But it's not until the brain interprets these signals that pain is actually felt.
There's a system in the brain that gets activated when you experience pain, and what I think you're doing is learning how to regulate that system in the brain by using another part of your brain to modulate it.
Matthew appears to use Qigong meditation to shut out pain. This temporarily alters his brain function. So, Heather is now going to look for evidence that suggests he can use his mind to control his body.
I'd really like to take some quantitative measures and just see what happens to your heart rate.
Heather fits Matthew with an electronic monitor to measure his pulse both before and after he meditates.
Okay, so it's in the upper 80s, early 90s for your baseline, so...
Normally, meditation is about relaxing into calm serenity. But unusually, Matthew appears to be working himself into a highly agitated state.
So now it's up to, gosh, 100, just over 100, 102, 103, 104, about 110. So you went up significantly just in that really short period of time. It was really dramatic. You know, what were you doing?
What I try to do is create an emotion which kind of puts my mind in a state where I can actually overcome the pain, and most commonly that would be anger. You know, my heart rate goes, I kind of see red, if you like.
So it's almost like what actors use in method acting. You know, they pull upon some real experience they had in life to create that emotion,
exactly.
Which is interesting.
That's what it is finding that internal pain so you can overcome physical pain.
This superhuman ability to use pure imagination to control both mind and body is one that Heather wants to explore further. In the test center, the scientists are about to further investigate Superhuman Case 3 in brain power. How much pain can Shaolin warrior Matthew Armott really withstand? The requirements for this are a wooden pole, density 500 kilograms per cubic meter, a metal bar, density 7,000 kilograms per cubic meter, and one highly trained assistant. Matthew will undergo 2 increasing stages of pain. First with a blow from the metal bar, and then an even harder one from the wooden pole. He prepares using special Qi Gong meditation.
So right now he's actually preparing his body to endure this blow. He's increasing his blood pressure.
This is a highly dangerous controlled experiment. Do not copy it. So, will he register any pain?
And yet not a sign on his face.
Comfort, yeah.
He's not even having to rub the area or something. It's just nothing.
Frankly, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
And painful.
Not just for the skull, but actually for the neck, for the cervical bit.
Matthew will now attempt to block out more pain than most humans could ever bear. A brutal blow right between the legs.
Is he gonna put that in his crop?
So do you get any pain there at all? I mean, I'm intrigued. You know, do you feel pain?
During that mode, absolutely nothing. You know, I'm so psyched up and the adrenaline is just pumping. It's just painless.
And it's a survival mechanism. I mean, when you're this sort of fight or flight mode, when you're in this fight mode, you can't be bothered by pain, right? Just like sportsmen on the field, sometimes they don't even realize they've injured themselves until they get off the field. Exactly. And those same mechanisms which occur naturally, you can tap into them and bring them up at will, which is amazing. I mean, I'm really curious about how much further your pain tolerance is above, let's say, the average person, and maybe we can, like, quantify that.
The requirements for this experiment into Matthew's pain threshold are a control to compare him with and a TENS machine. This device delivers electrical pulses to the skin. The test begins with a small pulse, which then increases until it becomes too painful to bear.
At some point, it's going to get uncomfortable, so just let us know, okay?
Bruce, the control, goes first.
350.
Are you feeling any kind of pain at all, or?
Yeah, it's beginning to get uncomfortable now.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to go for 400 at 500 microseconds. Pretty high dose.
Ooh. That's a little bit painful, though.
Okay.
It's not. Do you want to go one more?
One more.
Okay, all right.
That's like somebody getting a needle and just...
Yeah.
It gets sharper.
Really
sharper.
yeah.
So what are you up to now?
Still at 400,
and we're at 1,000 microseconds.
Ow.
Yeah, we won't.
We're at your limit there.
You've been a good sport, though.
You have been a great sport, because that really is painful.
The control, Bruce, had to stop at 400 millivolts for 1,000 microseconds. How much pain can Matthew withstand?
So now we're going to be exactly where Bruce was.
Same thing, 400. And we're at 1,000 microseconds.
Let's see how this goes.
Okay.
Yep.
Do your thing.
Not bad.
Okay.
Matthew could easily bear the level of pain that made Bruce stop. But can he take a shock that's twice that strong?
We're going to max out the machine at 400.
Okay.
I don't know.
This is
And 2,000 microseconds. All right.
That's not bad. Feels like a little jab in the arm.
So you just maxed out the machine. That's it. We can't go any further.
The point is we maxed out the machine, but actually it was twice as long as what Bruce endured, and that's really impressive.
I could go maybe double that if the machine would let you.
It's just, if you looked at it physiologically speaking, you should be screaming in pain now. But something about your expectations and the way you frame the pain in your mind changes how you experience it.
Matthew Armott's phenomenal ability to shut out pain through brain power alone is unquestionably superhuman.
It really hits home the point about just how impressive it is what he's doing.
But will Matthew prove to be the most extraordinary? Dr. Rahul Jandial, Dr. Heather Berlin and Professor Greg White have so far assessed 3 of their 5 cases in the cerebral category. Which 2 will they choose for the showdown of head-to-head tests? And who will become the ultimate superhuman in brain power? At the test centre, brain surgeon Rahul Jandial is preparing to assess the 4th case, a man with a brain so fast he's known as the human calculator. Originally from Cuba, Yusnier Vieira was a child maths prodigy. He now holds several world records for mentally calculating what day of the week random dates fall on.
So tell me about this calculation and this ability you have. Does it help you in regular life? How do you use it?
I love numbers, so numbers are everywhere. Numbers are my passion. It's like knowing a new language, the language of numbers. So I use the language of numbers everywhere I go. That makes me more like efficient to take decisions, you know?
So when you go to a restaurant, it's time to pay the bill and it's going to be a service charge. You do the math for everybody?
Exactly.
So we're very amazed with what you can do. We want to see it in action. Are you ready for it?
Yes, definitely.
All right, let's put you to a test. Greg's got a stopwatch. We're going to show you 20 dates in this century. As fast as you can, tell us which day of the week they land on.
Okay.
The requirements for this experiment are 20 dates from the current century that are on cards held by 10 volunteers. How long would it take you to calculate that this date is a Sunday?
Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay.
So, how long will it take Yusnier to calculate all 20 dates?
Friday, Wednesday, Sunday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
One mistake.
Monday,
Can he recover?
Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Saturday, Thursday, Monday, and Friday. And hold it there.
That's amazing. You got 2 wrong, but that's an amazing thing to see. Now, how fast was that?
29 seconds for 20 dates.
So what we're thinking is, if all men could do this, there'd be a lot less grief because we'd never miss our anniversary.
That's true enough.
My initial reaction when I saw Yusnier was total amazement. It's a very complicated task, and to see him perform it that quickly was very impressive.
As these dates were randomly generated, Yusnier could not have learned the answers. He must have calculated each one. But just how complicated is that?
All right, so we just saw something very amazing. Simply, there's too many numbers to memorize.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you do it.
Perfect. Let me show you the formula. You have to get the year.
Yusnier assigns code numbers to the year and month and then applies a multi-stage formula known as an algorithm.
When you get the whole addition, you need to divide that whole addition by 7. And you only care about the remainder.
If your remainder is 1, what does that mean?
If it is 1, it's Monday. If it is 2, it's Tuesday, and so on.
His algorithm was something I think lots of mathematicians could say, that makes sense. What's impressive to me is the application of that algorithm repeatedly. So what we want to do now is sort of look inside your brain, try to figure out what part of your brain is responsible for the special feat.
Okay,
You
that
up for
sounds
that?
good. Yeah.
Rahul sends Yusnier for an fMRI brain scan. During the experiment, Yusnier performs several complex calculations.
Now we shall run the calendar task. Are you okay with that? Yes.
Rahul analyzes Yusnier's results with neuroimaging expert Dr. Stuart Derbyshire.
So we looked at your brain while you did your calendar calculations, and we're looking for blood flow. Whichever part of the brain you're using, blood will go there, and we can detect it with some of the colors. Shall we talk about what we found?
Yeah, let's have a look.
All right. So what I see here is what we expect, that the biparietal or the left parietal, which is right above your ears, this region is activated, okay? The math center, there's a calculation area that's there.
Activity in this area of the brain is normal, but there's more to Yusnier's results.
What do you think about this region here? I didn't expect prefrontal cortex on the left.
Yeah, he's showing left prefrontal cortex activity, which is an area of the brain involved in organization. So he's kind of feeling his way through the math, maybe.
So you're doing this too fast to be only using raw calculation.
Sometimes I use rough calculation, sometimes I use my instinct.
So, in contrast to the norm, Yusnier also draws on the frontal lobe's higher functions, such as judgment and intuition.
you have some math sense that you're pulling in. It's an estimation of numbers plus a raw calculation. So I think that's very fascinating.
It's a great experience because I was able to see my brain, and not only that, I was able to see what region of my brain were activated at the time I was doing calculations. So I think it's pretty amazing too.
With his multiple world records, Yuzhnier has one of the fastest brains on the planet. He's 1 in 7 billion. But will it be enough to earn him a place in the showdown? Or will the final case make the scientist's decision even tougher? Professor Greg White is in London to meet the fastest talking woman on Earth, Fran Capo. Fran is from New York and can speak more than 600 words a minute.
I'm trying to find the way to Buckingham Palace, but I'm not really sure if to take the train or which way that I gotta go. So did you just get hit by a car? You know, when
Greg has invited her over so he can test her brain power.
You know, ever since I was a kid, I would talk fast, but I didn't think it would be like, you know, like a world record fast or whatever. So I went on his show. I had 5 hours to practice. I was, they told me something from Shakespeare.
Fran can speak more than double the 250 words a minute an average person can understand. Greg wants to find out how she manages to articulate so rapidly. The requirements for this experiment are a recording studio equipped with a speech pattern analyzer, a text from Shakespeare's Hamlet, and a trained actor to compare Fran's speech and diction with. Professor of Phonetics, Valerie Hazen, will help Greg interpret the results.
I've chosen something from Shakespeare, Hamlet, and really what I want to do is take a look at the difference in terms of the speed of reading, just a very, very simple piece.
First to read, as fast as she can, actor Emma.
To be or not to be, that is a question whether it is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune or to take arms against the sea of troubles by opposing in them.
Well done. So let's take a look at you, Fran, all right? As quick as you can.
To be not to be, that is a question which is noble in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune to take arms against the sea of troubles by opposing in them.
Definitely quicker. I mean, that was really quick, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there was a big difference for me, and that was that when I listened to it, Fran sounded like she was effectively saying just one word. There was no pauses at all throughout that.
That's right, that's really striking. And also, she really took a big breath before she started, and she's got amazing breath control, so she can really control that breath in order to keep her speech going.
The voice waveform shows that when Fran's speed talking, she doesn't pause between words like most people, but somehow she still manages to enunciate all the consonants and vowels.
You see the jaw moves very, very little,
Yeah.
and she's maintaining clarity by really using her tongue and her lips, all these articulators, to ensure that the sounds are clear, but without movement, because movement will slow her down, really. So that shows a really sort of good processing of her motor control.
Fran,
Yes.
you are very, very fast, and you're accurate.
In the brain, it's the Broca's area in the left hemisphere that's responsible for processing language. Fran's seems to be much more developed than normal.
She is the world record holder. We saw her speak at 4 times faster than most humans can speak. So she's incredibly interesting.
There's no one else like Fran Capo on the planet, a fact that will make the scientist's next decision extremely difficult. Because from 5 superhumans, all in a league of their own, they must now choose just 2 for the showdown. The final tests that will determine the ultimate in the category of brain power. But which 2 will it be? Five world-class superhumans have amazed the scientists with their unbelievable abilities in different kinds of brain power. Now, they must choose 2 for the showdown, the final head-to-head tests to determine which is the ultimate.
We've had the opportunity of seeing great demonstrations in brain power. What do you guys think about each of these people?
The scientists review the 5 cases. From Spain, memory champion Ramon Campayo.
I think it's a really great example that shows just how strong our brain can be.
From Brazil, speed cuba Gabriel Barba.
His spatial memory is definitely an advantage, but he ties it in with emotional memory, a touch of language, and the sort of combination of it all was truly impressive.
From Britain, master of pain suppression, Matthew Armit.
The power of his mind over his body was something really special.
From Cuba, human calculator, Yusnier Vieira.
He uses maths as like a meditation technique, and even when it becomes complex, he seems to be completely unfazed by it.
And from the United States, speed talker Fran Capo.
There's no doubt about it, Fran is fast. Almost 11 words a second. That, for me, is really superhuman.
All are outstanding, but the scientists have now identified 2 superhumans with the potential to go even further.
Gabrielle and Yusnier, I think there's something about them that really does shine out for me.
Both their skills are just way outside the norms.
Are we in agreement?
Yes, we are.
It's time for the scientists to give these 2 a final chance to show just how far they can go. First up, Gabrielle Barber.
Gabrielle, we're going to push you further than you've ever gone before. Our challenge to you is for you to solve 3 Rubik's Cubes blindfolded. Are you prepared to take the challenge?
Yeah, of course. I look forward to it.
This is the first time Gabrielle has ever attempted to solve 3 cubes blindfolded. It's a challenge that may well be impossible, as he'll have to remember every side of all 3 cubes.
I'm trying to focus myself right now, pretty much, but yeah, my nerves are outside of my mind.
Each cube has 6 faces. Each face has 9 squares. To solve even 1 cube by chance, the odds are 43 million to 1. Gabrielle takes a few minutes to memorize the cubes and devise his strategy. Then, the blindfold goes on.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I wonder what he's doing, because it actually looks like he's gone wrong.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't gotten it.
But he picked up 1 cube, did a couple of moves, and then put it down. And immediately I'm thinking, has he messed up? Is that the end of it? Is that as far as he's going to go?
He's handling it in stages.
We underestimated the guy.
Extraordinary, he solved the first cube.
But it looks like he used one strategy to get to a certain point, and now he's calling on another strategy to make it finish.
And the second. Can he solve the third?
That is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that in my life. Gabrielle's showdown was unbelievable, frankly. When he finished 1, then he finished 2, and when he came to the third and finished the third, it was electric. It was absolutely incredible. Even you're amazed by that.
Yeah, I never got one right.
This is a true task of what we call working memory, and he passed it with flying colors.
The thing for me was this ability to look at the cube, imprint it, and actually solve it in your mind without seeing it. It's absolutely incredible.
Thank you very much. It feels awesome to get all the cubes complete. It was amazing for me because I never tried such a thing before, so yeah, incredible.
Will Gabrielle's feat be enough? Or will Yusnier achieve something even more mind-blowing? Yusnier's challenge, can he break one of his own world records?
Yusnier, your mathematical prowess got you into the superhuman showdown. But we want to see if you can go even farther. Are you ready for the next step?
Yes, definitely.
From dates randomly generated by a computer, Yusnier will attempt to calculate which day of the week each falls on. How many can he do in 1 minute?
It's going to be a battle between me and myself.
Okay. Do you need some time to prepare?
Definitely, yes. I need some time.
The pressure is really on. His world record is 93 correct answers. To beat this, he will need supreme mental agility.
I need 2 minutes, actually.
Now, the only thing between Yuzhny and a new world record is the speed of his brain.
Okay, here I go. 1, 2, 3, go.
This time, instead of being from a 100-year period, it's from a much tougher 500 years. For each of the randomly generated dates on the screen, Yuzhny must perform his 7-stage calculation and then press the button that corresponds to the correct day of the week.
He's doing almost 2 calculations a second.
When you look down at the screen and how fast he is keying in those answers, it's mind-boggling to think he's actually done math before he's actually hitting the key. So in between the quick key pushes, he's doing a complicated math calculation.
Well, it looks like he might actually beat his record.
Tremendous concentration.
That was amazing. 90 correct and only 2 wrong in 60 seconds. That was really something phenomenal. You came very close to your record, and I think that's a tremendous feat.
To see Yuzhny almost beat his record was just extraordinary to witness. The brain can become superior at doing just one task so well that it's better than anyone else on Earth. And he seems to have this ability.
There was an instinct, a rhythm, a sort of cadence to the way you were handling the math. Seeing that was very special. You're true superhuman.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You did great.
Thank you.
But will this be enough? Or was Gabriel's achievement more impressive? The scientists must now debate who is the ultimate superhuman in the category of brain power.
Watching Yuzhny and Gabriel perform their feats, it was palpable. It was electric. How do we choose between both of them so there's only one ultimate superhuman?
Between the two of them, I look at it and I think, you know, Yuzhny was going for a world record, but he's going for what he normally does.
Yes, he didn't beat his personal record, but still the ability to do that, I mean, that's really something.
What do you think about Gabriel?
3 cubes, blindfolded. That, for me, is really superhuman.
I mean, it's a lot of different skills all rolled into this one finale of him being able to solve the cube really quickly.
But only one can win, though.
It's time to make a decision between 2 real superhumans. Are we in agreement?
Yep.
Drawing on all of the tests, it's time to reveal who they've chosen.
We were absolutely impressed by both of your skills. Gabrielle, I mean, solving 3 cubes blindfolded, I mean, the amount of cognitive processing and memory and coordination that takes, it was just groundbreaking.
Yuzhny, your mathematical abilities, without question, but taking on your record and narrowly missing it shows incredible confidence and ability.
Thank you very much.
The ultimate superhuman in the category of brain power is... Gabrielle.
When you think about how young Gabriel is and how he's able to do such extraordinary things at such a young age, I mean, imagine what's yet to come.
I didn't think I could get it. I was so nervous, but yeah, I did it.